You know that he was going to quit. So High School Musical was the last time he was going to audition for something before they were going to give it up for a while, maybe for always. That last take of him jumping off the stage and him landing and swinging on his knees and shaking his head, he was in agony. It was such a magical day. Working with Matthew Broderick, we moved the float into a real parade, and then we got one take. Hello, I'm Kenny Ortega, and this is my E.T. retrospective. Oh my goodness, Xanadu. Oh my goodness. That was my first choreography job in motion pictures. And both of those dear, dear people, Olivia Newton-John and Gene Kelly, were such important mentors for me, and in completely different ways. Gene, took me under his wing. That was the last dance number for Gene in his career, and he asked me to direct and choreograph it. And Olivia was just this inspirational muse in my life. She was, just a little older than me, and yet was so wise.
Let's hear it for the boy.
Wow. Denise Williams, Let's Hear It for the Boy. I remember that it became a #1 hit song. It was from Footloose, and I had 2 boys in it. And the younger boy is Aaron Lohr. And Aaron Lohr I discovered when he was 6 years old. And he is now married to Idina Menzel.
You're kidding. Oh my goodness.
The original choreography that I based that on was from Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. We'd heard of her, we knew who she was. She was definitely, no secret, but she had not really kind of become the universal Madonna that she became after this. Madonna was the first one on the set and the last one to leave when we were in rehearsals. I remember she stayed later than all the dancers, asking questions, working on detail. She was just a total pro, an absolute total pro. And, I have to say, like Michael, like MJ, I mean, both of them had that same sort of, dedication to getting it right. And it was a ball doing that.
Notice them when you pointed to them, and then the float stopped.
That's me standing next to John Hughes and Matthew Broderick. That's me with my long hair.
Wait.
I knew that Ferris Bueller's Day Off, was a big film for John Hughes, the director, producer. We're on the streets of Chicago. I've never seen this. That was my first directing assignment for a major motion picture, and he gave me 12 cameras, and we moved the float into a real parade, and then we got one take. It was such a magical day, and working with Matthew Broderick, and Jennifer Grey, who came into Dirty Dancing after that, played his sister, and that's where I met Jennifer Grey. Matthew, the first day I laid eyes on him, was in a rehearsal. He was in a pair of sweats and a t-shirt, and he was a nervous wreck, and it was like, I've never danced before, and I was like, don't worry about it, we're gonna figure this out together. And he was the most charming, wonderful, sweet man to work with. Woo! This is a good piece. Gloria Estefan. We go way back. I remember Gloria saying to me at one point, Kenny, there's only been 2 men that have ever directed me, and one of them is my husband, and you're the other one. And we are family.
You're the one thing I can't get enough of.
Dirty Dancing. It was a great experience working on the film. So proud of it. Patrick and I would still be friends to this day. Jennifer and I still talk and see one another and celebrate our times and our experiences together. But it is truly one of the great super memories of my lifetime. You hear things like Cuban rhythm in the story, and you see that we're doing, like Cuban mambo. That all came from being with the Miami Sound Machine. That all came from my Cuban roots. So I brought a lot into the story, into the character of Johnny, and Patrick loved that. That was a film really where dance is language. When the dialogue stopped, you know, the dance became the words, you know, and left you in a place after the dance was completed that you weren't in before it started. And I learned the power of how choreography could really tell story and move story and character forward.
Yes, Mickey.
Is this true? There was hesitation from Patrick Swayze because he had a knee injury.
He didn't have hesitation, but he had a very bad knee. And during the finale, when he jumps off the stage and then lands and then does the thing and goes down to his knees and shakes his head, he came up to me and he said, "Kenny, I have one more left in me. That's it. I'm going to give it all to you. Make sure everybody's where they need to be. I'm not going to be able to give it to you again." And so that last take of him jumping off the stage and him landing and swinging on his knees and shaking his head, he was in agony. And so many moments in the film are those moments. This moment where he's tickling her, she's literally losing herself. We're in a tin building. It's freezing cold. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Patrick is so tired and wanting to go home, and every time he does this, she's giggling, and the look on his face is not. No one directed that.
Hello, sailor. My name's Winifred. What's yours? I put a spell on you.
I'm still laughing. Hocus Pocus. This little movie that opened in the summertime. It failed at the box office. I think it made $4 million. And look at all these years later, it's the perennial Halloween favorite. The bottom line is that having those women in those roles was just, it could not have been more perfect. And working with them is just hysterical.
I am beautiful. Boys will love me.
Would you ever come back and direct a third one?
Yeah, well, I was disappointed I didn't get asked to do the second one. But if I got tapped on the shoulder and asked to come back and to play with those women again and to revisit the idea of a Hocus Pocus, you bet. That's an absolute yes, I would do it.
I feel in my heart the start of something new.
They are so surrendered, all of them. They were just so lost in those characters. Zach and Vanessa, every time they walk in the room, you can't take your eyes off of them. It didn't take but weeks for 100 million people to be watching it and for it to be breaking every record in television and to being the first album ever on television to go, you know, into the charts. I knew something special was going on here. There was something electric that was happening in the room. And I said, kids, if the Walt Disney marketing department does the job that you guys are doing here on the floor today, get ready for your lives to change. And boy, did they ever.
We're breaking free.
I understand that Zach was dubbed in the first season.
Partially, because the songs were written before Zach got the role. So he sang everything, and then we dubbed parts of it so that it had greater vocal strength. But the second movie and the third movie, everything was written for him. There was no dubbing whatsoever. And that's important that people know that Zac Efron did sing. You know that he was going to quit. Zach and his mother decided that if he didn't get this audition, because he hadn't been getting anything, he hadn't been getting cast in a while, he was in high school and he was a great student, they decided, because it took an hour to get into Los Angeles and sometimes 2 hours to get back home with traffic, that they could save that time and just focus on his education until he graduated, and then they could rethink whether acting was something he wanted to pursue. So High School Musical was the last time he was going to audition for something before they were going to give it up for a while, maybe for always.
I'm rotten to the core, rotten to the core.
Yeah, Descendants, 10th anniversary. What a love affair that was. Every one of those kids. That was Cameron Boyce there right in the middle. There dancing rotten to the core, and it was another moment. We had Kristen Chenoweth working with us that day as Maleficent. It was one of the first days of filming, and we had this huge dance number down the streets of the Isle of the Lost, and the sound came through the speakers, and the kids started dancing. And I looked at Cameron Boyce, who was between Sophia and Dove, and on the other side, Boo Boo. And I said, it's gonna happen again. We're gonna do it again. They won't be able to walk into a mall without being mauled. But I saw it, the sparks of, it was of wonder. And I remember this 10th anniversary with great love and affection for the forever boy, Cameron Boyce, who was our muse. God bless him, he died of SUDEP, sudden, unexpected, death due to...
So tragic, so young.
Epilepsy is something that kids are very susceptible to, and that it takes a lot of young lives. And so the Cameron Boyce Foundation, which that whole cast and myself were all associated with, to raise funding to find a cure for epilepsy. We celebrate our 10th anniversary, through our forever boy and all that he brought to that experience. He was everyone's favorite. Oh. And it was no secret.
And it's 10 years later. I mean, the fandom continues to grow.
We've got 4 and 5 now. 5 coming out.
5 coming out.
Yeah. There's a music tour out there now with Zombies and Descendants that's
I love it.
Selling out. It's just beautiful. It's mind-blowing. I never get over the excitement of how these projects sustained and continue to find an audience. And, with a new generation of kids, it's beautiful.
Okay, then. Good.